are listening to The Common Constitutionalist, broadcast from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Welcome back to the Common Constitutionalist podcast. This is the Common Constitutionalist coming at you from springtime in New England. I've made an executive decision, and I think what I'm going to do is hold off on my Rate the Candidate series to see who's actually serious about getting in. We've got some guys that are in: Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Marco Rubio. Carly Fiorina might be getting in. She actually looks like she might be pretty decent. Hard to say. I don't know at this point. I'm not even going to bother with her at this point. You got schmoes like Chris Christie, who was in New Hampshire this weekend. What a dope. You got, of course, we got King Jeb and maybe Mike Huckabee. Who knows who's going to get in? So at this point, I haven't heard anything about Jindal. I like him. I did a series on him a few weeks ago. I liked him, but I don't know if he's getting in. I don't know if he's going to be a player. If he does get in, I don't think he's going to pull anybody away from Cruz or Paul or Rubio or those guys. So I think I'm going to just hold off and see where this goes. So I want to start out with illegal immigration again. Just this some of this stuff just gets tiresome after a while, but it has to be said and it has to be repeated over and over again so people get it. The Conga line of illegals continues across the southern border, and it turns out that the state of Texas along the southern border is a 1,200-mile border between Mexico and Texas, and they've got around, I think it's over 1,000 motion detector cameras that come on. They're automatic. If they detect motion, it's like wildlife cameras for hunters and whatnot. They don't stay, although these things take still shots, and they also take video, and it's real time. And these things have been invaluable in remote locations, and apparently what's happening is that more and more people are using these remote locations to sneak across the border, and sneak across the border not just people, but guns and drugs. So far, these cameras have helped border guards nab nearly 30,000 people, and 88,400 pounds of drugs were seized in 2014. They called this Operation Drawbridge. I don't know what they did with the with the drugs. Maybe they sent it to some Colorado smoke shop or something. I don't know. But the 30,000 suspects that they caught, I don't know what they did with them. You would think the reports appear as if they're suspects and they were caught and sent back. But we all know that this is not the case. Now, is it? The system of cameras, these motion detector cameras, have been working great, though, and have caught a lot of people. And apparently what they do is they station these things on ranches, ranches and farms along the border. And these, I feel for these poor ranchers and farmers because there's not a dang thing that they can do about this. They can't fight back, or they're the ones that are going to be arrested and jailed for shooting somebody on their property or even shooing them away or whatnot. Plus the fact that they fear for their lives every time they encounter these illegals because you don't know what these illegals have on them. Some of these pictures that they have, these motion capture pictures, are these guys are bringing AKs, shotguns, handguns, all sorts of weaponry across. There's some pictures of these guys with humongous bales of, I don't know what kind of drugs. I don't know if it's pot anymore. With all the places that are growing pot in the United States, you'd think that part of the cartel's business is drying up, but I don't know. Who knows? But these humongous freaking bales on the back of these Mexicans, it's unbelievable. Now, I'm glad they're using the technology and whatnot, but to be honest with you, to what end? It's not as if it seems to be just a catch and release program anyway. Maybe they strip these guys of the drugs and guns and send them on their merry way. I don't know. It doesn't say that they're sending these people back or anything. They're just maybe they're just catching them, stripping them down, and releasing them into the general population. I have no idea what the Obama border guys, I feel so bad for these border guys because they really want to do the job, and they're simply not allowed to do the job that they were hired to do. It's a crying shame. And we all know that the border is just a sieve anyway. I don't know why these guys are actually, well, for drugs and guns, I get it. Yes, they use these remote areas. They use the farms and the ranches that aren't normally patrolled, and that's where these motion cameras are coming into effect, and they're having a good effect on some of the drug and gun running. But I would say probably not enough of an effect, certainly. And they're probably not allowed to have enough of an effect because of the daggum Obama administration. And back in February, Governor Abbott, a governor of Texas, said that, and this was February, a month into 2015, he said that the estimates are that over 20,000 illegals had already entered the United States through Texas just by February. It's absurd. It's just absolutely insane. So anyway, in a related story, the Daily Mail reported that El Gafe, who was one of the leaders, if not the leader of the Gulf Cartel, the drug cartel down there in Mexico, and they operate out of Reynosa, which is I think a city of like 600,000 people on the border between right on the Mexican-Texas border, south of Mission, Texas, I think it is. And they recently captured this guy, El Gafe, the leader of this cartel, and apparently he didn't go quietly into the night. There was a huge freaking gunfight in the city of Reynosa downtown. They were burning cars and buses, and there was like 60 of these armed cartel thugs that were shooting it out with police and federales down there. They finally quelled the violence, but there were lots of people shot, people killed, and this was just an absolute mess. These guys aren't messing around, these drug cartel guys. We've heard how vicious they are, and their reputation precedes them on this, and they were not going to let their leader go. Apparently, the federales got the best of them. The guy was El Gafe, was transferred to Mexico City, and to face justice, I guess. I don't know what kind of justice he's going to face, but at any rate, it was an absolute mess down in there in Reynosa, Mexico. The city leaders, one of the former leaders, Francisco Garcia Cabeza de Vaca, holy crap, what a name, huh? He's an opposition senator and former mayor of Reynosa. He says this place is completely out of control. Absolutely unbelievable. Reynosa, Mexico. It's virtually run by the drug cartels, and getting them out of there is going to be no easy task. Apparently, to date, more than in the past 8 years, more than 100,000 people in Mexico have been killed in gang-related violence down there, and it isn't getting any better either. And these Mexican politicians, the new president came in 2012, said he was going to clean things up, and there ain't no cleaning going on down there. There's a bunch of payoffs and all that other crap there, about as crooked as it gets. They make Harry Reid look like a choir boy down there, and that's saying something. So that's about all I've got for the Conga line of illegals that just keep flowing across. You got to feel for these people in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. I find it really hard to feel for the people of California, so I'm going to leave them out of it. But certainly the people of these other border states, man, I feel really bad for them. Because they're fighting not only the Mexican drug cartels, they're fighting the illegal aliens, the guns and the drugs, but they're also fighting our own federal government, and that's a crying shame. Hopefully something will happen in 2016 when Ted Cruz becomes president and we seal the border. Ha 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 ha. So I will be back momentarily.
You're listening to the Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
All right, I'm back. ISIS. Here we go again with ISIS. Man, it just seems like the topics, this stuff just keeps coming up. Immigration, the Obama administration, ISIS, it's just Russia. It's a repeat and repeat and repeat. But it's got to be said, same as immigration, it has to be hammered on, or people aren't listening, and we just got to keep repeating ourselves until people get it, I guess. But ISIS is still expanding, regardless of what you've heard from the mainstream media, regardless of what you've heard from Obama and his minions. ISIS is expanding, and now they've expanded into Afghanistan. Who would have thunk it? Who'd have thought this was coming? We evacuate Iraq, we leave Iraq, what happens? Vacuum, ISIS moves in, and now there's a war between ISIS and the Iran affiliates, so to speak, on who's going to control Iraq. And everybody knew this was going to happen. Anybody with half a brain knew that was going to happen. And now, son of a gun, Afghanistan. This is the first time that ISIS has reared its ugly head as far as violence is concerned in Afghanistan, with 2 blasts that killed 37 people and injured over 100 in Jalalabad, son of a gun. And as soon as after the attacks happened, ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack, and I guarantee you that's not going to be the last of it. Like I said, 37 people were killed outright, 100 were injured, and most of those were critically injured and probably aren't going to make it either. These were from 2 blasts. There was a third bomb that didn't go off and was disarmed successfully, so thank heavens for that. But at any rate, and this is just another significant sign that ISIS is expanding its operations, and it's from an affiliate of ISIS, which is he was the leader. I don't even want to attempt to say his name. He's a former Taliban commander, former Taliban leader, who's moved over and pledged his allegiance to al-Baghdadi, and now they've got a firm foothold in Afghanistan too. So now ISIS, despite Obama's claim that A, they were the JV team, turned out not to be the case, obviously, and B, that we were going to destroy their infrastructure and beat them down and contain them and whatnot. Some containing. They're in Iraq, they're in Syria, they're in Libya, they're in Egypt, they're in Algeria, Yemen, Pakistan. They're in the Philippines, they're in Israel and the Gaza Strip, they're in Lebanon, Indonesia, and Jordan. There are probably more, but I think you get the picture. Basically, they're serious, man. They want the caliphate. Al-Baghdadi wants to be, already his claim he's the caliph. And, and that's right, I forgot. They're in Mexico and they're in the United States. Oops, forgot that small little fun fact there. And this is what's going on over there. It's not just ISIS is ISIS. It's ISIS has a bunch of affiliates that have signed on and pledged allegiance to ISIS. When we think of Al-Qaeda, we just think of Al-Qaeda. We don't think of any other terrorist group other than Al-Qaeda. It's the same with the Taliban. When we think of the Taliban, we think of them as some homogeneous being or something like that, group, and that's not what it is. I liken it to a major city. Say New York City. New York City, they've got Chinatown, and they've got Little Italy, and then they've got Koreatown, and they've got all these separate enclaves of Haitians and Indonesians and all this other stuff, and they're separate enclaves. Sure, they're New Yorkers, but they're also members of Chinatown or Koreatown, and that's what these ISIS groups are. They're not just ISIS. ISIS is the blanket term for all these disparate groups that have pledged their allegiance to Baghdadi and to the caliphate. And there are literally dozens of these little groups, whatever. I don't know how little they are, but relative to the overall size of ISIS now, they're pretty small groups. And there are dozens and dozens of these groups that are pledging loyalty to old Baghdadi and to ISIS. And it's like, if you're a terrorist, or if you're anyone, frankly, everybody loves a winner. And if you're a scumbag terrorist who's been getting nowhere on your own or your own little group, you do a couple of car bombs and stuff, but you're getting nowhere, you're getting no traction, and you're making no difference. There's great allure in joining this major organization, prestige into signing on to ISIS. It's like if someone asks you what you do, and you say, well, I'm a computer analyst at Joe's House of PCs or something like that. Well, that's great, the guy says. That sounds really good. Well, he doesn't really mean it, nor is he very impressed. But if you're the same analyst, but you say, well, I'm an analyst and I work at Google, well, that's a freaking huge, big difference. That's a lot of prestige going with that. And it's the same with these scumbag terrorist groups. They sign on to ISIS and it's instant prestige. It's the same damn thing. Now, as far as the United States is concerned, everybody's wondering when ISIS is going to attack or the next terrorist attack is going to be. And why haven't we seen one? There was a guy who I think it wrote for IBD or did an article somewhere. I just read a little snippet of it yesterday, and he said that the reason why they're not doing it is they don't want to embarrass Obama, because he's been a great help to the terrorist organizations like Iran, the parent company, so to speak. To all the Shiite guys. But I don't think that that's it, because the ISIS guys aren't Shia, they're Sunni. And if you look at a map between the Shiite regions and Sunni regions, the Sunni regions is humongous in the Middle East and North Africa compared to the Shiite regions. It's basically Iran, and then they run everything Shiite. And now it's turning into basically ISIS running everything Sunni, and then they have all these affiliates. So I don't know when an attack's going to occur, if an attack's going to occur. We've heard plenty of times where these attackers, and they're not brain surgeons, these guys aren't geniuses. They slip up, they make mistakes, they're monitored constantly. Thank heavens they're monitored constantly. Imagine what devastation we would have had already if half of these guys haven't been caught yet. But you got to remember that these guys are patient. They're not like us. They don't need instant satisfaction. They don't need on-demand movies. They can wait until the video comes out, so to speak. It's not that important to them. They plan the attack. Heck, the 9/11 guys, 9/11, it was 2001. They were training for this thing prior to 1998. That's over 3 years worth of training and planning for 2001. That's patience, man, and Americans don't understand that kind of patience. So that's ISIS in a nutshell, folks. Or, frankly, any terrorist guys. They have long-term planning as opposed to our short-term thinking, and that's unfortunate for us, and it may end up getting us attacked because we let our guard down because there hasn't been an attack in so long, or we've thwarted so many attacks. I gotta tell you, it just seems like with this administration allowing all these fools to just walk across the border, we don't know who's coming across. It's just a matter of time before we're hit. One of these guys are going to get lucky. Somebody, I don't know, it was Rudy Giuliani or somebody, said that we have to be right 100% of the time. They only got to be right once. That's it. And one attack in the United States, one bombing in some train station or an airport or something like that, and America is going to be set into an absolute panic. All right, I want to end on a fun note for a change. Some of the stuff gets awfully depressing. I saw a sign today. It's from Dennis Hoff's Moonlight Bunny Ranch I think it's in Nevada. It's near Carson City. I've obviously never, no, not obvious, but I'm telling you, I've never been there. I've never seen it, don't know anything about it other than it's the Bunny Ranch, and it's prostitution for hire, basically, and it's legal in Nevada, and that's what it is. But I saw this sign, just cracks me. You got to find this on the internet. It's hilarious. The sign, the Moonlight Bunny Ranch launched a hookers for Hillary Clinton website, a website promoting Hillary Clinton. Hookers for Hillary. Yeah, that's a ringing endorsement. Bill will love it. I'm telling you, he'll be a big fan. Maybe they'll need if Hillary gets in, they'll need an ambassador for the Bunny Ranch, and I guarantee you Bill will be the first one signing on to that thing. But I just thought I thought that was hilarious. I didn't look into, nor do I give a rip, why the hookers are for Hillary. But it's awesome, and it couldn't happen to a better person, Hillary, that is. It's not one of those things that you want to discuss on the NBC nightly news or as mentioned in a speech on C-SPAN or something like that you just got a ringing endorsement from the World Wildlife Foundation and Hookers for Hillary. It's just awesome, just great stuff. All right, that's all I've got before I laugh myself silly. This is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. Hope you enjoyed it. I kind of did, at least the last portion anyway. And y'all have a great day.